distinguished delegates, colleagues, partners, and friends, Assalamualaikum. Good morning and selamat pagi. Thank you to Petra, ACE, and our partners for convening ASEAN's premier platform for energy collaboration. This year's theme, Powering ASEAN, Bridging Boundaries, Building Prosperity, captures our shared ambition. To bridge boundaries, we must first build the infrastructure that connects energy, economies, and communities. Resilient, modern, and green infrastructure are the backbone of ASEAN's clean energy transition, for without it, technology stalls, and with it, prosperity scales. The urgency of the clean energy transition demands a new kind of leadership, one where businesses play a central role as co-creators of systemic change. ASEAN's renewable energy ambitions are bold. Member states aim to achieve 35% renewable energy in installed capacity by 2025, with net zero targets committed by most nations for mid-century. Yet, progress remains fragmented. Without accelerated, coordinated action, the region risks falling short. Corporate demand, driven by ESG mandates, decarbonization goals, net zero pledges, and the rapid growth of energy-intensive sectors such as manufacturing, logistics, and data centers, has become a central force in accelerating clean energy adoption. To date, corporate buyers have already enabled over 3.3 gigawatt of new renewable energy capacity in ASEAN through power purchase agreements, with data center energy consumption in Southeast Asia projected to quadruple by 2030. The critical question now is whether supply can scale fast enough to meet this surging demand. Transition at scale needs systems, not pilots. I think we can all agree that we are past proof of concept stage. Grid readiness, flexible transmission, smart industrial zones, and efficient logistics now determine how fast and how fairly renewables scale. Infrastructure must withstand climate shocks, integrate new technologies, and remain affordable, especially for communities and SMEs. There is a need for robust transmission and flexible distribution that enable high RE penetration and grid balancing, one that can connect through cross-border interconnections and power trade to optimize resources and reliability. A resilient grid is the great enabler, unlocking utility-scale solar, wind, hydro, and new flexible resources. One of the critical areas for deploying more large-scale RE systems is increasing investments. However, due to the limited fiscal capacity held by countries and the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and other global crises, there is an urgency to attract the participation of the private sector. A well-structured PPP, public-private partnership, align long-term public outcomes with private innovation and efficiency. Malaysia's energy transition alone requires 1.2 to 1.3 trillion by 2050 across generation, grids, mobility, efficiency, and emerging fuels. But only about 41% of the required investments are commercially viable in the short term, and approximately 59% are marginally bankable or non-commercial. This is where we come in. UAM Group is the flagship infrastructure arm of Malaysia's sovereign wealth fund, Khazanah Nasional, and our mandate is to lead Khazanah's domestic investment agenda in the infrastructure space, as well as sustainable development initiatives in Malaysia. To finance our foray in RE, we have a 7 billion Sustainable and Responsible Investment Sukuk program, which we plan to use in support of Malaysia's drive to reduce emissions and prepare for the growth of a low-carbon economy. With capital on our side, we plan to leverage on our track record in delivering large-scale infrastructure projects through public-private partnerships to realize Malaysia's net zero ambition. Our entry into RE industry is rooted in the vision of creating a globally competitive, thematic, green investment platform, employing a direct and active ownership approach. We have since 2023 engaged in several projects that align with Malaysia's decarbonization and energy transition goals to enhance renewable energy capacity. One of our flagship initiatives under our subsidiary UEM Lestra is the development of a 1 gigawatt solar power plant under the Corporate Renewable Energy Supply Scheme, or CRESS. This project not only harnesses Malaysia's abundant solar resources, but also establishes partnerships with leading international players like Hexa Renewables, bringing state-of-the-art technology and expertise to our local landscape. As part of the 1 gigawatt solar project, we are spearheading the establishment of a RE industrial park under UEM Sunrise, strategically positioned in Gerbang Nusa Jaya, Iskandar Puteri, Johor. This initiative has garnered interest from several prominent China-based companies in core sectors such as solar and energy storage. In addition, we have incorporated sustainable energy solutions expertise through strategic acquisitions. For example, Synergy C is at the forefront of renewable energy deployment with projects in biogas, biomass, and small hydro sectors. With over 150 megawatt of installed capacity from these renewable sources, Synergy contributes significantly to reduce Malaysia's carbon footprint. Another example is Nor Power, our first independent power utility company, which holds exclusive rights to sell electricity within the Kulim High-Tech Park. This partnership is instrumental in propelling our decarbonization initiatives, with a focus on Kulim High-Tech Park as the starting point. For this, we have earmarked 1.5 billion ringgit investment to decarbonize Malaysia's industrial parks. This allocation underscores our commitment to spearhead the decarbonization of industrial parks throughout Malaysia, beginning with KHTP under Nor Power. By enhancing operational efficiencies and reducing carbon footprints, we aim to transform KHTP into a benchmark of sustainability, setting a precedent for other industrial parks across the nation. For KHTP and other industrial parks in Malaysia, as a starting point, we focus on and invest in the development of renewable and low-carbon energy generation, storage, distribution projects for these parks. This could contribute towards the national target of achieving 70% renewable energy in the power mix by 2050. We also look at energy efficiency projects with the industrial park operators and tenants to improve overall energy management and consumption by heavy industrial users. Beyond energy transition in these industrial parks, we are also actively exploring the development of adjacent ventures, such as industrial water treatment plants, which complement our decarbonization initiatives and further enhance Malaysia's industrial sustainability landscape. Decarbonizing industrial parks offer Malaysia a competitive edge by appealing to investors prioritizing eco-friendly locations. This transformation will invigorate local economy, motivating domestic companies to expand and innovate while fostering a culture of growth and resilience. These upgrades will also create significant job opportunities across sectors like renewable energy and high-tech manufacturing. This will also deepen the skill base of the local workforce, contributing to broader economic diversification and supporting Malaysia's overall sustainability agenda. Separately, in meeting the rising industrial water demand in Malaysia, we are also conducting a joint feasibility study with Aqua Power to establish independent water and power plant, IWPP, facilities in Malaysia using seawater reverse osmosis desalination technology. Successfully delivering ASEAN's RE ambition and other targets requires a strong systems approach at the regional level across the sectors that involve the public-private stakeholders. For ASEAN, Rising to the challenge means operating at 3 stages: working together to achieve individual goals, taking into consideration the interrelationships amongst the goals, and finally, delivering the goals in a way that models the characteristics needed for a sustainable and resilient society. For example, we need to harmonize interconnection standards, market mechanisms, and cross-border corridors, positioning ASEAN as a unified, competitive energy market, where Malaysia and our neighbors trade clean power reliably. We need to also enable cross-border energy trade with integrated frameworks that support reliability, affordability, and decarbonization. And lastly, for us to have a common and shared policies and platforms for procurement, skills, and technology transfer to speed the diffusion across member states. Because when ASEAN builds to common standards, we'll build once and we'll build for everyone. Okay. The road to energy transition and RE is no longer aspirational. It is a competitive necessity. No company, sector, or country can do it alone. Business-led collaboration, supported by enabling policy and infrastructure, must drive transition from ambition to action. To meet surging corporate demand, we need to accelerate decarbonization and build a seamless regional power market. ASEAN must recognize corporate leadership and government action are 2 sides of the same coin that must work hand in hand to address immediate and long-term necessities. I'm confident if we build resilient infrastructure together, we won't just power ASEAN, but we will bridge boundaries and build shared prosperity for decades to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Datuk Amran and Lestra, for playing a part in Malaysia's decarbonization initiatives of Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen.